Breaking news are happening now.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Reality Flash. My name is Mike Bloom, and I'm here to bring you the flashiest breaking news in the wide world of reality TV. And today, the Disney Corporation has provided us a veritable magic kingdom of announcements here, as they recently had their big Get Real event. And I'm here to get real with you to tell you about all the exciting announcements coming with a myriad of reality shows, both old and new. And of course, I could not do this alone. There is just way too much to chew through here. And so, listen, we are getting into a lot of things from a whole hodgepodge of shows. And I'd be remiss not to bring in somebody who talks about a whole hodgepodge of shows, including some of the ones we'll be talking about today, both here on RHAP as well as on the Free Agents Network. It is the one and the only Matt Liguori.
How's it going, Mike? I like Matt Liguori better too. Maybe just mix it up. So
I'm just thinking
we'll
Mickey Mouse, Matt Liguori. You're trying to go with. You're such a Disney boy. I want to go with the alliterative name here.
No, it's great. It's great. Yeah, so excited to be here talking to you about all of this stuff. Obviously, some Dancing with the Stars news here, which is a lot of fun. I'm excited to talk about all of that. Look, I mean, we know it's a fun time to be a reality TV fan right now. It's been, the past couple of years has been, I don't know if a resurgence is the right way to put it, but just like it's been a good time. Things have been happening, new shows have been popping up, and so to have this relatively new Hulu event that's just all centered around their reality TV lineup that they're obviously putting a lot of investment into and really wanting us to be paying attention to. They're making new shows, they're spinning off all the different shows that are popular right now. So again, a lot of fun stuff happening.
Yeah, so there is a lot to get through. For the uninitiated, Hulu's Get Real event is essentially like their version of upfronts in terms of especially the pomp and circumstance back when, upfronts were this big, fun sideshow type of event for the networks, where they are rolling out, very specifically to Matt's point, a whole unscripted slate of announcements. The interesting thing is, again, this is more so representative of like ABC, Hulu, Disney Plus. It was a Hulu specific event, but it was more so encompassing of a lot of reality shows that exist under this brand. This is the second year they've done this,
Yeah.
I believe. And yeah, it's this thing where like they're bringing out like influencers and the stars of the shows to like sort of introduce this. It was broadcast as this big live event happening on Hulu. I mean, what do you make of this as an event in general, Matt, before we get into the specifics of what they actually announced?
I mean, it's fun. I mean, the people that get to go, the influencers are posting a lot about it. They're having a good time. It's, keeping it on my timeline. The live stream wasn't working at first, so that was a little bit of a hiccup, but it happens sometimes. I guess they did too good advertising it, that too many people wanted to be there and they crashed the site. But eventually it got going a little bit later. I would love if it hadn't been conflicting with Survivor last night. It was on scheduled to start at 7:30 Eastern. Obviously on a Wednesday night, Survivor starts at 8 o'clock. So as far as watching it live, I was only able to check out the first little bit, but luckily they got the Dancing with the Stars stuff at that point. Overall though, it is a lot of fun. It's just fun to get everybody together. Anytime, I mean, look, that's like the magic of award shows or anything like this, that it's just, look at all these people that we watch on all these different shows getting together. Sometimes it happens on their own in like a private Hollywood party, but when we get to watch them all interact and we get to see all the clips and all the TikToks that they're making, it's fun. So it was a fun event. I would not be surprised if this is, the second of many to come.
All right. Well, we need to get into everything we learned from this event because it was a lot. Now, look, the first time they did this last year, they kicked things off in a major way by officially announcing the first celebrity cast member of that year's season of Dancing with the Stars. And it was a big one because it was the eventual winner of the season, Robert Irwin. And so they decided to be able to sequelize things by, doubling the quantity of cast members that were introduced here, Matt, and they are quite known quantities for those of us in the reality TV space because they are obviously having backgrounds from two other very prominent shows, but perhaps in our neck of the woods are most prominently known for their roles in a couple of recent seasons of The Traitors. As we can officially say that the first two cast members of Dancing with the Stars, of which you cover vociferously here on Rob Has a Podcast, are none other than Maura Higgins and Ciara Miller.
Woo! the crowd goes wild. I mean, maybe not everyone goes wild, just in the sense that I did see a lot of people saying who, because not everyone watched. Well, I guess not everyone watches the Traitors, or for Ciara, not everyone watches Summer House, not everyone watches the Bravo shows. But let me just give you the upfront pitch that these two are going to be a lot of fun. Both of them super worthwhile castings. Maura, I mean, I think a lot of us watched obviously on the Traitors. If you haven't seen her on Love Island, so you got to know her personality, you got to hear about what she tinks every single week. You got to see her get her Birkin after she ends up, spoiler alert for the Traitors, ends up coming in second place. The runner-up after losing to Rob. She gets a little fooled by him, or a lot of fooled by him. I will say, of course, I think some people might have been expecting Maura on the other half of a Rob Rausch announcement here. Rob was not announced for Dancing with the Stars. Either he's just not on, maybe he'll be announced later, maybe he said no, who knows. But Maura is announced. She was the first person that they announced, and like you said, last year it was just Robert. All they said was Robert Irwin, which was a big name to start with, but if they just did Maura Higgins, that would have probably been standard and expected. And then all of a sudden they popped over to the screen that they had behind them, live from New York City, Ciara Miller, who today, Thursday, the 23rd of April, is filming the Summer House reunion, which is going to be explosive as all get out. And so Ciara is there right now. She called in, and we have our two first cast members.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting in multiple ways because, like you said, and this is something that you had been doing in your coverage of the Traitors as well, given the Venn diagram of your main pillars of coverage here in the podcast space, that we have had for the past 2 years with the rise of the Traitors. Okay, who's our one crossover cast member? It was Phaedra 2 years ago. It was Dylan last year. And so I think a lot of people had their money on it being Rob because it made so much sense. But having Maura show up here, I think is fun. You know, she certainly had her moments, and I think obviously had probably one of the biggest moments of the season with her ultimate betrayal, or I should say getting betrayed at the very end. I really hope that like she opens whoever she's partnered with, their very first dance is like them walking out of a giant Birkin bag or something. I mean, she's a very fun personality. I think there's a reason why a lot of people were excited for her before Traitors, even if she kind of was more of a womp womp case there, because like she is a really fun, fiery personality. I do wonder if this is going to conflict with any possible like After Sun appearances, right? Because you'd imagine she would be appearing on that over the course of the summer, but
well,
I don't
that's
know
in
when
June. Dancing is not till September.
Right, but like I don't know when they're gonna have to start like getting into the studio, you know.
No, that's the pros right now are currently still on tour, and that tour ends, I think, like mid-May or something like that. So they need to rest. They will not be coming anywhere near Maura for a while. I mean, that is funny that you know, just a lot of people were speculating last year. Oh, Robert knows early on, and then also Jen and Whitney, who get announced from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, also were announced relatively early on.
Alex Earl was the second one announced, and she also made the finals.
And it's like, well, they could be getting into the studio and learning as much as they can early on. Robert goes on to win, so maybe the extra practice time will help. But who's to say? I mean, she's not going to be linked up with Mark Ballas, who's currently supposed to be on Broadway. He's been sick lately. But I don't think that they're going to be, practicing daily between now and September. But she should.
Yeah, I also think that, as you mentioned before, again, I have been wrong before, especially when it comes to Rob's chances on Dancing with the Stars, but I've gone firmly in the other direction now. I think this is a confirmation he's not on. I don't think it would make sense to have both of them. I guess you had it a little bit with Whitney and Jen, but that felt like such a different kind of deal. And I feel like, again, this is not like a type of show like The Traitors, honestly, where it's like, ooh, there's some intrigue as to he betrayed her. Will she get her revenge? Because they are largely operating in silos, right? They barely are interacting with one another from a competitive perspective. So I feel like this debunks for now Rob Rausch being on Dancing with the Stars.
It feels unlikely.
Yeah, I feel like we could easily see him on another show. Obviously, there was a lot of scuttlebutt about him being on Survivor, but I think she is going to be our Traitors season 4 representative in the season.
I would have to agree at this point. I mean, sure, you could speculate. Maybe, I don't know, he wasn't ready to sign up or sign the contract or anything yet, and they would still make a meal out of an announcement to come later. But it would feel like this would be the perfect time to get them both announced together. Everyone's asking her in all of the interviews since yesterday, wouldn't you want to be competing against Rob? And she's like, of course, I want to get him back. I want to beat him this time. But nothing that she can say about out as to like, oh no, he said no. So we're just left to, I guess at this point, assume it's probably not going to happen, but you never know.
So let's talk about the other side of this, though, because Ciara, this is really interesting because, yes, she is Traitors specifically, but I feel like much more presently, she's affiliated with Summer House. The last podcast I did here was Sharon Tharp and I breaking down all the drama that went down. Certainly something that you and Scally have been following on Free Agents. I mean, this is very apples and oranges, but I called this, okay, is this a Summer House scandal? So is this akin to them casting Ariana on Dancing with the Stars a few years ago?
It definitely is. And I think a lot of the conversation around when this news broke, go back and check out that Reality Flash episode. And I'm sure you couldn't have missed all of the news about the Summer House scandal that's been the hot topic for the last month or so. And they're, again, filming the reunion now, that there was something going on with Amanda and West and Ciara have been linked over the past couple of seasons since West joined the show. And now Ciara, who was there for Amanda the whole season, this whole timeline, while Amanda's going through her divorce, or not having a good relationship with her husband. Now they're getting a divorce, and then now Amanda is with West, who Ciara, all of that stuff. Go check that episode out. But Ciara being very much in the spotlight right now definitely made you think, like, could this lead to something big coming next? And generally that something big could just be Dancing with the Stars. And it's crazy that is just a timeline that exists, because for Ariana, it was the same thing of just like, this horrible thing happened to her, but luckily on the other side of it, some good things came out of it. I mean, just having her name thrust into the spotlight as much as it was, Dancing with the Stars, hosting Love Island, all of that stuff, she obviously ended up with some good things happening, all things considered. And Ciara could be on the same track, even though their stories of how they got there and the specific scandals are not identical.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued to see how this is going to go. I mean, it's so interesting to just see how much like the Bravo to ABC pipeline has been free flowing for the past couple of years because of this Traitors aspect. I mean, we certainly have had housewives take to the dance floor earlier, but I mean, I have to imagine she has to be the first Summer House crossover we've had, right?
She definitely is. Yeah. And if you asked like years ago, I mean, there's a couple other names, at least like Lindsay Hubbard, you would guess is like, she's always been the big star over there, that she's going to probably get the big opportunities first. But no, Ciara, I mean, especially having, like you said, the Traitors tag as well, like they can kind of go to both avenues of that if they want to explore, show past clips and remind you of her. Because at this point, we're a whole year plus removed from Ciara's Traitors experience. So like you said, people are definitely much more associating her with her show that she's been on for much longer, and has been much more in the headlines right now. So yeah, it's interesting.
We talked about how Maura showing up here might mitigate the chances of Rob showing up. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Ciara's presence and how it might affect another Rob showing up, because Matt, this has been talked about up and down, mostly to Dylan Efron in various interviews about like, are you getting Boston Rob to do Dancing with the Stars? And Dylan has really been pushing him to do it on that front. Boston Rob has really been, in the various times I've talked with him, very in and out, much like his feet would do in any sort of samba about like, I'll do it, I won't do it. Ciara and Boston Rob, notably very close from Traitors, show up in a Dunkin' commercial together. There was a clip on Summer House last year where like, I think she outright mentions Boston Rob. How do you feel like this moves the needle at all? Do you think this is sort of like an incentive to get Rob to do the show?
I don't. I think we look, celebrity status and news and all that stuff, just like it flows, and people's celebrity, like the how much you want them on the show is going to fade, and how much the audience is going to be invested in this person on the show is going to fade. Like they would have needed to immediately go into this season with Boston Rob being there, and at this point they're not going to have 3 Traitors alumni on if it's going to be Boston Rob and not Rob Rausch, who is the much more recent person in the spotlight, in my opinion. I don't think that Rob signing up for it, I never thought this would have been a worthwhile move for him, because I didn't expect that it's going to go well. I think he would probably last a week or two, maybe just if he happens to get the votes. But I think he said it himself, that he is not expecting that he would have had success there just by not being a good dancer, I guess. I don't know. I've never seen him dance, but I have to take his word for it. So I think we can probably close the book on that, unless he shows back up on another season of a show and the popularity reemerges yet again. But for now, him and Dylan Efron are probably just going to keep their YouTube show running until the wheels fall off.
Well, last year, of course, was all about Robert Irwin being announced for Dancing with the Stars, but there was another piece of news around him still in the Dancing with the Stars universe. So this is something that had been loosely speculated, right? This idea of, okay, is there going to be a spinoff, which has been seen on Dancing with the Stars in the past, but has been much more scattershot. And indeed, at Get Real, this was outright confirmed that there is a new series coming July 13th, Dancing with the Stars, the Next Pro, which will be hosted by Robert and will be judged by not only the aforementioned Mark Ballas, but his mother, Shirley Ballas.
Yes, Shirley Ballas, who is one of the biggest names in dance, like period. And I say that not having ever watched a second of one of the shows that she's been a part of or anything like that, but I just know the legacy that she has created for herself over the years. She has trained so many of the Dancing with the Stars pros, including Derek and Julianne Hough, and of course her son Mark Ballas, who's gone on to be one of the most successful pros in the show's history. Was just on the Traitors, just taught Mike Bloom how to dance very recently as well. Go catch
Taught
that
is, I mean, how to dance is very much an understatement, but yeah, it's peep the Instagram of the grade if you want to check out some of the moves that he taught me. And
Yes.
stay tuned, there might be a much larger sit down with the man
Oh,
once we had
very
our
nice.
quieted it down coming very soon, which he also talks about, fittingly speaking, his relationship with his mother and how she got involved with judging because she also has been the head judge for a little while as well, taking over the late Len Goodman of Strictly Come Dancing over in
Yes.
the UK.
Yeah. So she, her being involved in this project, I mean, I guess it's not surprising, but it's like so exciting because she hasn't been involved in Dancing with the Stars, at least anytime recently. I don't know if that she ever even guest judged. If she did, I don't know, or I don't remember. But she's definitely all over Strictly Come Dancing. She is, like you said, the head judge over there. So her and Mark combined here to be the judges for this show. And it looks very interesting as far as format goes. I haven't seen, like, I don't know if we've gotten all the details, but it sounds like, first of all, 12 contestants, not just like your American Idol style of just
So,
like,
or so you think you can dance, which I think is the biggest comp to this, right?
I'm also that's a big blind spot for me. So you think you can dance? I don't know my dance. So you think you dance history? I need Chappelle for that. But 12 contestants will be starting the season, and it sounds like they're all living together in like a reality show style house. I
Oh, so
think is what I
so
was
it's like
reading.
so you think you can get to by with like what they did with for Fear Factor House of Fear in terms of putting
Sure.
them all in a house together?
Sure. Apologies if that's not correct, but I think that's what I read today. And so they're going to be, I'm guessing, totally guessing that there's going to be eliminations along the way. I know for a fact that we have the current Dancing with the Stars pros. A lot of them are again on tour right now, but a lot of them had taken break from tour to go fly out to Australia, where this show was filmed with Robert Irwin hosting, to go be a part of it, whether it's a guest judge or popping in from time to time. So we're going to see a lot of familiar faces on that show, and it's premiering July 13th. So this summer we're going to have some bonus Dancing with the Stars content as someone is going to emerge from that show as a pro, could be paired up with Maura or Ciara or any of the other pros, any of the other celebrities this season.
I kind of feel bad for people in the troupe though, right? Because wasn't the methodology like you get in the troupe, you work your way through, you pay your
Well,
dues, and then you get up? That's what happened with Ezra most recently.
so this is a very strange situation that one of the contestants on the show was on the troupe 2 seasons ago. Stephanie Sosa, Ezra's sister. She was
Oh,
on the troupe on season 33. I don't know if it was season 32 as well, but definitely 33. Was not brought back on season 34. This most recent season, they did a whole new troupe, including Haley, who's on tour right now, Jenna and Val's niece. And so Stephanie is competing on this project, and I was just like, that's a little uncomfortable.
I want my job back.
Like she was already on track to be like on the show, and then like not on the show anymore, and now she's competing to be back on the show, and I just find that a little weird, but happy to see her get an opportunity. I mean, the Sosa family seems like a lot of fun. Obviously, we've had Ezra as a pro now for 2 seasons, so we'll see if Stephanie can win her way back on.
Yeah, so if you were looking for a summer fix of Dancing with the Stars, besides going to a Dancing with the Stars con, I mean,
Yeah.
again, they are really capitalizing, maybe perhaps, Matt, as we'll get into later, in the wake of perhaps another very venerated franchise on ABC kind of going the way of the dodo or running into various controversies. Like they're really leading into like all Dancing with the Stars all the time, especially with, I think, the burgeoning renaissance of the show. They're hitting us now with, Dancing with the Stars in the summer and fall this year.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I mean, look, we used to have 2 seasons of the show. There was a spring and a fall season. I think probably for budget reasons, they couldn't end up doing that. These pros don't just show up for nothing, or the celebs and the pros don't just show up for nothing. So while I guess 2 seasons a year is not back on the table, spinoffs that make the entire franchise a little bit more intriguing along the way, why not?
All right, well, let's keep moving because it wasn't just Dancing with the Stars. That was merely like the giant aperitif before we actually dug into this multi-course meal here. So I'll go through it, I guess, in the order that, has been laid out in press releases after the fact. So Heidi Klum revealed that Project Runway is returning for season 22 on Hulu and Disney Plus and Freeform like it did before on July 9th. Now, this was not announced, Matt, but I believe the scuttlebutt is that we had, of course, some Drag Race connections last season with Utica Queen showing up as a designer. And once again, all of the Dancing with the Stars announcement, we are now doubling that, as I believe both Plain Jane and Q are going to be on this season coming in July.
Yeah, very intrigued about that. I've never been someone who watched Project Runway. I don't know if I'm going to start now, but the intrigue of just when they bring on people that you already know to try to bring you in, I mean, it works a lot, especially for me. Plain Jane, especially, who just got off House of Villains, didn't have a very long run there, spoiler alert, and is probably looking for, to continue making a splash. And then Q, who, I don't know if, I don't know. I don't know if Q had the most fan love coming out of her original season, but I'm definitely intrigued to see what these two do and bring to the show.
Also, I believe I read an article in Variety that let's not stray too far from Dancing with the Stars, because apparently they're going to have some guest judges, or not guests, but I guess guest stars, where they're going to have Brandon, Alan, Val, Jenna, Emma, Ezra, Britt, and Julianne appearing in one episode. Maybe the challenge will be like they're the models and design an outfit for them. Also, we're going to have appearances from Charity Lawson, from The Bachelorette, Sarah Jane Nader, Ekin-Su, Lord, yes, Ekin-Su, and the winner from last season, VJ, as well. And of course, again, speaking of another Drag Race crossover, Law Roach will also continue his crossover role as a judge on Project Runway as well.
Yeah, it's all happening.
All right, well, let's talk about a couple of new shows that are coming our way. And listen, there's been a lot to say about, like, have we eclipsed the oeuvre of the Kardashians? Has the Overton window closed on their popularity? But that window is getting wedged open by Hulu, courtesy of a show that Khloe Kardashian is bringing called The Girls. No, this is not like a female-led spinoff of The Boys. This is instead a show about Khloe and her inner circle of friends.
Yeah, and honestly, there's another show coming up that gets announced that I feel like we're looking at similar vibes here. The Stassi show that I'm sure about to talk about. It's just like we're just trying to take, I guess, the magic of what happened with the early seasons of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, maybe not right now, and just and look, Bravo does this all the time with the many lifestyle shows that they have. Next Gen NYC is a recent one. Just like find a new group, whatever they have in common, and put them together, and you never know what's going to spark. So maybe The Girls is the next big hit.
Yeah, I mean, it is an intriguing concept, right? And as we mentioned before, we've seen this a lot, I feel like, with Housewives, where it's like, oh, I'm thinking of like Don't Be Tardy to the Party, where they're like, okay, let's just focus on this one person and see the life that revolves around them. Which is weird, though, because I feel like we already had a spinoff with Khloe, right? Didn't we have a Khloe Lamar spinoff? So
I feel like we've probably had every combination. The Kardashians is another world that I've never like really stepped into. It's probably just as big as like the Housewives binge that I did to like really find every show and every spinoff. But yeah, I can't imagine that this would be the first Khloe Kardashian spinoff of some sort.
Well, I want to then pivot to the one that you have more familiarity with here, Matt, because listen, there's been a lot of talk about like, the Vanderpump initial generation has officially gone. We've officially done the ship of Theseus and replaced them with a brand new group, but they are not going away anytime soon, especially with the announcement of a new series airing July 29th on Freeform, House of Stassi.
Yeah. Stassi Schroeder has been a part of the reality TV world since she was a literal child.
Yes, on the
Mike,
Amazing Race Family Edition, memorably. Maybe not so
uh,
memorably, because I'm pretty sure she went home like 4th or 2nd.
I was going to say, I'm sure Mike could remind us all how they did. I don't think it was that well.
It was purely ironic because in the Amazing Race Family audition, begrudgingly, they only raced around the United States, and they believe they got eliminated in their home state of Louisiana.
That's tough. Stassi then goes on in my journey with her to be on a show that was called Queen Bee or Queen Bees, which was such a fun watch. And I wish I got to find it on streaming and convince Scally to cover it at some point. It was a pivotal show in my childhood. And then, of course, much more notably, ends up on Vanderpump Rules for a good long time. Ends up coming off of the show, not by her choice, around 2020. And then she's back. Just like a lot of other people that were taken off of shows in 2020. She's been back as a mainstay on Vanderpump Villa, another show that gets talked about here at the Hulu event. As I don't know exactly what her role is, but she's kind of just like the second in command to Lisa Vanderpump is the way that I would phrase it. And so for season 2, she was there. Beau, her husband, comes in as well. And they're just kind of like around while all of the antics are going on. And the same thing is going on currently on season 3, which is already dropped. I'm making my way through it right now. But everyone's looking for more Stassi, I guess, these days, because now this House of Stassi show is just going to be the Stassi centered, like, check out my life, featuring for Vanderpump fans, Katie Maloney is going to be back as well. Mike, I ran into these two. I didn't actually get to talk to them, but I was in Disneyland a couple of weeks ago, and Katie Maloney walked right past me. Apparently she was with Stassi. I didn't see Stassi, but I saw their pictures together.
Were there cameras around? Did you accidentally?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, did I miss
Stassi?
the cameras? I don't think so. I did not see cameras, but it was just like Katie and a bunch of her friends. Again, I saw that Stassi had been with her as well. So these two obviously back together, back friends and working together here for House of Stassi.
Yeah, so the log line reads, quote, reality TV's most notorious fan favorite, Stassi Schroeder, is stepping back into the spotlight, even though, as you could argue, Matt, it doesn't seem like she has recently vacated the spotlight, to redefine her place in pop culture. But staying on top means confronting the ghosts of her past in a chaotic inner circle with a talent for disrupting her life.
I will guess 1 season, but I'll be interested to see what happens in the season. I don't know where it goes. Like, just like, getting
Disneyland,
into
maybe.
and there's a whole other cast of people that are going to be on, including, I believe her name is Christina Kelly, who was also a Vanderpump recurring cast member for some time, not like one of the main cast members, but just like they're going to try to take this group of friends and make it, the next thing, and just see if it sticks.
All right, so we're going to keep sticking on Vanderpump here, as it was announced that, as you mentioned, Vanderpump Villa just recently dropped its 3rd season, and you don't have to wait very long to find out about any sort of recompense for these people's actions, as there is going to be a reunion that is airing 1 week from today, April 30th. So, Matt, get a binging. You need to be able to catch up on all the context.
I'm working on it, trying to get into it, because there's an episode that they have a handful of challenge contestants come to Vanderpump Villa with Olivia and Theo and Ryan and Derek and
I think Josh was there, right?
Josh, maybe Michelle was there too, unless I'm thinking of last season. I don't remember. But yeah, there's a challenge centric episode. I just earlier today finished the episode where Ekin-Su and Ekin-Su's birthday party come through, and that's who was hosted in the first round of guests. So now I'm about to get to the challenge related episode, and that's what they do on Vanderpump Villa. They have a bunch of celebrity reality TV people come through, and they're guests at the villa, and they have to throw them a party, and chaos ensues with the main cast living their lives and hooking up and getting drunk and all that stuff. So the reunions generally, I guess, necessary to wrap up all the story. But I don't know. I don't think that I've seen Vanderpump Villa making as much noise as it's not a Bravo show. It's a, it's a spinoff essentially from Bravo people. But it's not from Bravo. So I don't know if the Bravo people aren't checking it out as much. I don't know.
All right, well, let's get back to some of our new shows here, as a couple of competition shows have been announced that have walloped us like a tsunami, as we need to start by talking about the mob here, Matt. So, I mean, they're not even being secretive whatsoever about the fact that Hulu is trying to make their own versions of the Traitors. This is coming from a number of producers from the Traitors. It is called The Mob. It's a very similar structure. And the concept of the show is that there's going to be a bunch of celebrities checking into a villa who will, quote, shake down, hustle, and whack their way to win up to $250,000 in cash prizes. Every episode, they will tackle mob movie-inspired jobs to survive. And then the group will vote for like one of them to be made the Dawn, who will then get to decide like who stays and who goes. And so it's I believe this is reality TV _ fan, great fan of the show, revealed this cast a short while ago, and it is a pretty wild one, even for these shows' standards.
Yeah, Scally and I had just talking about this cast a couple days ago, not expecting that we were going to get the actual announcement so soon. But yeah, this cast is insane, and we got to see them all. There's no secrets anymore about who's on this cast. They showed a preview of the season, and we saw everyone. They did like a little like camera shot that just tracked all around and showed everyone that's there. And it's just like your standard, like, what the heck is this group of people all doing together, whether it be the Traitors or any of these other shows that's popped up. It's a crazy group of people. The Dancing with the Stars connection here, we have Bruno Tanioli is going to be a contestant here. For the Bravo universe, we have Joe Gorga from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice's brother. We have Romeo, who we all know from music from our childhood,
or from the Romeo show on Nickelodeon, or for being Wes's best friend on the Challenge Champs versus Pros or Stars. Or
right. Definitely remembering all of that. He hosted X on the Beach for a couple of seasons or whatever.
He's also fun fact, he's also my birthday twin, exact day and year.
Look at that. That's crazy. We have Demi from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which news on that to come from this event as well. Willem is back on TV.
Oh boy.
Willem is back. Excuse me.
You better make sure that she signs a contract like a mile long if you don't want her breaking any rules.
We have Harry Jowsey is here. Two Bachelor Nation representatives in Maria and Shane. Maria, I remember much more. She's a villain. Probably will be some fun here. Bella from Love Overboard. I'm not familiar. Nor Chelsea from Selling Sunset. But then there's two actresses here, Mike. What's your familiarity with Ada, who I believe is from The Sopranos, not a Matt show, unfortunately. And then Debbie, who is from a bunch of things. But I know that I watched her on Younger.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting I mean, she's I believe she's like sort of related to John Turturro, who's sort of, having his own moment on Severance, but like she was on The Sopranos as Janice, who I'm trying to remember. I think she was Tony's sister. I want to say she did get nominated for 2 Emmys. So this is just like, clearly this is what you bring her in for, right? Like, oh, it's a mob show.
Yeah.
She has a mob connection, but I cannot imagine she's going to do well in this whatsoever. But it's a perfect representation, I think, of the chintzy level of casting. And you talked about this actually with a really fun tweet about House of Villains the other day that I think is sort of fully represented here, which is like, I think this is a very unserious show, just at first glance, given the level of the cast, given the fact they're like, it's a mob show. We got to bring in somebody from The Sopranos, even if she has no idea what she's doing. And also the fact that it's hosted by Parker Posey, who, listen, the roll of the dice turned out incredibly well when it came to Alan Cumming on The Traitors. I have no idea what Parker Posey is going to be like as a host of a TV show.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. Obviously, it's been a big year, or had been a big year for Parker Posey, coming off of the White Lotus. And
Brand Steel winner of 2025.
Who could forget? And so I'm so excited to see what this show turns into. It's going to be probably very silly and very camp, and that is my favorite type of reality genre these days. I wish Drita was here. Recent House of Villains winner, again, spoiler alert. I feel like she would fit in so well here. But this is gonna be fun, I'm sure.
There's also a show called Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Runway Show. I know a topic that is near and dear to your heart, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, like, is this a competition show? Or is this more so just like presenting the women that will be doing the runway this year?
Sure. I have no idea. I didn't see a single thing about this anywhere. And it's literally a footnote on the information about the mob. So if that tells you how much they're, I guess, trying to hype it up.
Well, let's build then to more of a fiery conclusion. As fiery as the sun in Southern California here, Matt, as obviously in the wake of everything that has been going on with Taylor Frankie Paul, there's been a lot to do about the status of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives as a concept. Now, of course, earlier this week, we have heard through the grapevine that after pausing down production, it seems like production for season 5 is picking back up again. It seems like Taylor is going to show up, albeit later on in filming. Dakota is a no-no. But Matt, it seems like they are thriving in the midst of all this, considering that the first ever Secret Lives of Mormon Wives spinoff show has been announced.
Yeah, I would say blown away, but I'm not. It's just like I guess I wasn't expecting this to actually really take off in such a way, and then to become a franchise that has spin-offs. I mean, this happens all the time with even like you go over to many of the Bravo shows, and they've tried like Married to Medicine in different cities, and so they're just like, it's like, this is, you know, the hook of why people are here for this original series is worthwhile. People like it, so let's try it somewhere else. I have no idea anything about this cast and who they are besides one name, Bobby Altoff, I believe is how you say her name, her last name. She is someone who has been, I would say, pretty controversially a very public figure for at least, I don't know, since TikTok started, or since, I don't know, we were locked inside. For me, 2020, I was seeing her everywhere on TikTok, and I believe she was taken out of the spotlight for cancelable reasons maybe along the way, and then now she's back in it. I don't know, you've definitely seen clips of her, you or anyone out there. She like talks really softly into the microphone, and that's how she asks all of her questions.
Can't
and then
relate.
she like doesn't look like she gets phased about anything, and if you get her to crack, like, that's like where the funny podcasting comes in for her. I know she has a lot of people that really do and really don't like her. I believe she's going to be basically the person out in front of this show, despite the fact that she wasn't there for the announcement. But yeah, a whole new group of women joining this show. Again, not surprised to see that based on the success of it all, that they're going to keep trying to make it grow. The original Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is back in production, so they're going to just keep on going and keep on going here despite controversy. That's what they thrive on anyway.
Are you surprised that Jen Affleck isn't involved? Because correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she recently vacated Utah to move to LA with her family.
I mean, I guess that's the kind of thing that I could see happening in like season 2, if she's like truly leaves the original and, you know, leaves where she's, you know, had been living and then hops into this version. But I feel like I'm not surprised that generally they do try to start the first season of most of these just with a fresh cast. But yeah, if she showed up there, you know, no surprises.
Yeah, I mean, this announcement doesn't completely surprise me because I do think even before Secret Lives of Mormon Wives came around, I feel like I heard so much talk about like the idea of mom talk being started up in so many different like chapter areas across the country, to the point where even I believe Erin Grease, formerly of a Big Brother 15 and Racism, was like trying to start something in her Texan community and got like chased out of it. So obviously it is a quote unquote business that is thriving in various pockets across the country. And so much like Housewives, which again is the equivalent essentially here on Hulu, it does make sense. It's just that the timing and I guess marketing of this is rather wild. It does make sense from a Disney perspective because I imagine they would want to be like, listen, you think this thing is on ice? No, don't worry about it. We're actually doing better than ever. Or, hey, if you're getting tired of these people in Utah, here's a brand new shiny group of people. I think it's also a nice way for them to cover their own asses as well, considering that I even talked about this with Reality Steve when we did a podcast about the Taylor Frankie Paul news. Like, considering the variety of opportunities a lot of the OG cast of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is getting, there's no guaranteed chance that the Utah version is going to stick together till the end of the time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if this is what they're doing, if they're trying to replicate Housewives, then we're going to get the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, New York City and New Jersey and Atlanta and Beverly Hills. if that's where we're going with this, I mean, it's an interesting base premise of the show to go off of. It kind of limits you, I guess, if you're only doing shows about just Mormon people and Mormon wives. It's obviously Housewives can be anybody. But I can easily see them going for it to just really capitalize off the success of the show and hope that they can keep it alive, even if this one specific group of women that are already, you know, kind of crashing and burning, maybe because of Taylor Frankie Paul or just with everything else going on over there, they want to keep the series afloat.
Well, on that note, the last thing I want to bring up here is something that is mentioned, but not in a lot of detail, which is, you know, what is the status of The Bachelor as a franchise in the wake of this wildly unprecedented situation? Now, going into Get Real, there had been some speculation from various outlets as to like, oh, the rumor is that they're actually going to air Taylor's season of The Bachelorette at some point. That is neither here nor there, but what we have heard from the mouths of ABC proper is that we will be seeing a new season of The Bachelor proper in 2027. So this is something that had been speculated about. I've been talking about this a number of times on the Reality Flash about like the various sort of whack-a-mole circumstances of the Bachelor franchise of like, okay, Bachelor's going, but maybe it's canceled, but Bachelorette's going now, but maybe it's been canceled as well. Bachelor in Paradise came back, but maybe it's going away again. So at least now we have sort of like a tangible Bachelor show that will be coming onto the air next year. They obviously did not mention anything about the Bachelorette. So for all we know, Bachelor Nation fans, this might be the next taste you get of Jesse Palmer and company is all the way in 2027.
Yeah, that's a long ways away, but just given the break that it probably needed, I guess, to reset a little bit, and obviously in the wake of them casting Taylor in the first place and then filming a whole season with her and then going on to have it be canned. So yeah, I feel like the time away could only help them as a whole. And obviously anybody that is still a Bachelor Nation fan and looking for the franchise to continue, I think you would probably sign up for the long break over just finding out that it's totally canceled. So, good news for anybody that is looking for that. For me, I don't know. I've had a hard time like really sticking with The Bachelor as time has gone on, but maybe this break, maybe they'll like figure some stuff out. I don't have that much faith in them given that they cast Taylor in the first place, but you never know.
What's your gut take at this moment as to whether or not they'll air Taylor's season at some point? The further we get away from, I would say, the most heat being on that controversy.
I mean, if they do, I feel like the only way I can see it is like a straight drop to Hulu. Like the whole show just ends up there in one fell swoop and you can watch it or you cannot.
Yeah, I would imagine that as well. I don't think they're necessarily going to like roll out the red carpet being like, she's been completely cleared of all charges,
No.
folks. Now we could, especially knowing now, like all the information that has come out after the fact, which is basically being like, do you really want to watch this journey that we know is not actually going to culminate in anything? So I totally agree. I think if they are going to do anything, it would just sort of be like an all at once, not really a sweeping under the rug because it's kind of already been swept under the rug, but certainly not the glamorous presentation like they would usually do for any season.
And I would, I guess, still be surprised if they do that in the first place, just because why? But I don't know what the legality and all that stuff is of people that have sponsored the show, or I have no idea any of that stuff. And if they like feel like they need to air it, but I don't think that they need to, and I don't think that they should. Sorry to all of the men who signed up and are very upset that their show's not going to be aired, but sorry, blame ABC.
Maybe they should do what they did for the this season. They got like had a COVID hiatus in the middle where it's like, you guys could come back on a future season. You get like a get out of jail free card. You get the ability to appear on any future season you want to.
That works so well for the Big Brother Canada 8 cast.
Exactly. Well, Matt, this was such a great time. Again, there was just a smorgasbord of news going on from this event, but I'm happy we got to nibble on a little bit of everything alongside you. Any other thoughts about any major takeaways from this entire sequence of announcements?
It's just fun. I mean, again, it's a fun time to be a reality TV fan, just having a event like this that we can expect to get all of these different updates from. And, there's obviously more news that comes out along the way about all the different projects, but when they save some secrets that are not so well kept secrets, but then announce them in such a big format, it's fun. Again, please don't do this again at 7:30 p.m. on a Wednesday night, East Coast time at least. Would appreciate that, but all fun stuff happening here. We'll see where some of these new shows take us, and just the kickoff of for Dancing with the Stars season. It's always fun, always exciting. So excited to see what other names we get between now and September. Watch the new Pro show and see what's going on. It's all fun.
My hot take is that if years from now we get the shocking news that NBC Universal and Disney are merging, look at this as the canary in the coal mine, because we mentioned this a number of times. Obviously, again, having someone like Ciara and also Maura as well actually make their way over to Dancing with the Stars, Vanderpump Villa living on Hulu despite it being a Bravo show. Like, I feel like over time we have slowly began to mix these two worlds more and more. And I don't know if it's coincidental or if it really is like setting up this massive merger to come.
It throws me off every time I think about it because I'm like, wait, more that was Peacock, that was NBC, and now this is Hulu, this is Disney, but she's allowed to do this now. I don't know what her contract said. Yeah, it's very confusing. And in my mind, I mean, like, when you like go to log into Hulu and you're like, wait, is it my Disney Plus password? Is my Hulu? Is my Peacock password? I don't know. So I can't keep up with any of it. I just hope that my passwords are all saved in the right places and I can get in and follow these people on social media and know where they're going next, because it could be literally anywhere in 2026.
Well, Matt, let's find out how people can follow you on social media and find out what you are doing next. Because again, if this podcast is any indication, you are an expert on so many things in the reality TV space. You talk about them all across the variety of shows that you do every week. So how can people check out what you're doing?
I still don't like the word expert because I get a lot of things wrong. I fake it till I make it. But yeah, this is a good vibe of what a good vibe check of what we do over on the Free Agents podcast. We're talking about all the different shows right now. We're rewatching The Challenge from the beginning, and we're also rewatching. We're about to record the first episode of our Traitors season 1 rewatch. So we're going back to watch Cirie and Kate and Brandy and Kyle Cook from Summer House and Rachel Riley. And all of the people that competed over there. We're going to check that out because Scally and I never podcast about it. So check that out, as well as the Diary Room podcast, where myself and Amon Adwin are talking all things Big Brother all year round, trying to find the best player in Big Brother history. Speaking of Rachel, we just had Brendan and Rachel on a couple of weeks ago. We had Donnie Thompson on. We had Kat Dunn on. Brittany Haynes this past week. So it's been a very fun start to the second round of that competition. Check that out if you're interested. And yeah, I'm on most social medias at Matt Liguori. But thank you, Mike, for having me as always.
Well, thank you for coming on and offering your, I'll say the word again, expertise when it comes to all of this. But I want to hear from you all out there. What's your reaction to having Maura and Ciara be the first 2 contestants here? How do you think they're going to do as well? Because it's a small record for, Traitors contestants on Dancing with the Stars, but we had Phaedra make it mid-game. Dylan obviously made a big cut towards the end. How do you think they might perform? Who are you expecting to show up as well? What do you think about this new pro show, about the new shows that are coming about this new spinoff of Mormon Wives? Be sure to let us know in the comments and on social media. And of course, if you have any news that you want to send me about this wide world of reality TV, no spam, no solicitations, just tips at therealityflash.com, as I am whacking my microphone in just pure exultation about the fact that I get to talk about. Listen, thank you to Disney for making this really easy for me. I didn't have to scour the internet. It was all bundled up in one nice package, albeit one that maybe dropped at the same time as the other major reality show that I cover, but I cannot complain too much. And of course, if you haven't yet, please leave a rating, a review, therealityflash.com. It is greatly appreciated, as again, this podcast covers a wide variety of topics. So if you happen to wander in here by proxy of your affiliation with any one of the shows I just mentioned, feel free to stay. Check it all out. I'll actually be back very soon because speaking of some Drag Race contestants showing up on these shows, a whole ass All-Stars cast got dropped. And so I'm going to be breaking that down very imminently. So you want to make sure you don't miss a second of everything that is going on. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Reality Flash. Matt, thank you again so much for coming on, giving your thoughts on the slew of announcements that we just got. I'll be back in your eyes and ears soon with more reality TV news as it breaks. Until then, everybody, you've just been flashed.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.